All right. Good morning, everyone. We are glad to see all of you today. We have a really exciting webinar planned for today. I'm going to wait just about one more minute to let everyone trickle in and we'll start. Wow. Okay. For some of you, good morning. For some of you, good afternoon, and welcome to today's REOX webinar, Partnering for Success, How to Work with Dawson's Management and USDA Programs. I'm Sheila Raper, and I'll be moderating today. Today's discussion offers an inside look at how Dawson's Management, one of the nation's leading asset management firms, collaborates with USDA Rural Development and how agents and brokers can engage more effectively with these programs to better serve clients and communities. We are joined by two outstanding leaders who bring deep expertise in REO, government contracting, and housing advocacy. Our first speaker is Labrescia Dawson, President and CEO of Dawson's Management, a woman-owned firm based in Duluth, Georgia. Since entering real estate in 2002, Labrescia has positioned Dawson's Management as a powerhouse in federal contracting, asset management, and property preservation. Her company manages the REO portfolio for USDA Rural Development nationwide, providing excellence across asset management, project management, and government consulting. A graduate of Purdue University and an alumna of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses and SBA Emerging Leaders programs, Labrescia is known for her leadership, innovation, and commitment to empowering others. That's very impressive. And then we have joining her is Marcia Toms, Program Manager for Dawson's Management, who brings over 20 years of leadership experience in real estate operations, government contract management, and community housing advocacy. Marcia previously led the HUD REO contract for over a decade, overseeing marketing outreach and compliance initiatives nationwide. She has trained more than 25,000 real estate agents and lender partners on HUD and USDA processes and continues to advance excellence in education within the industry. We are so honored to have both Labrescia and Marcia with us today to share their insight into USDA programs, asset management, and how REO professionals can better position themselves to succeed in this specialized sector. So welcome, guys. We are so fortunate to have you two ladies with us, and I will turn the floor over to you.
Well, good afternoon, good morning for some. We are excited to be here. I am sure we are going to see some familiar faces, but we're going to start by allowing Miss Dawson to tell us about this wonderful empire that she built.
Okay, I think you have to mute now.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. We're having a little technical difficulties. We're in the same room.
So hello, everyone. While I've learned a lot of things, technology is not that I've not mastered yet. So good morning and good afternoon to some. Thank you all so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much, REOX, for inviting Dawson's Management to speak and tell the brokers and agents about ourselves. We are elated to be here. It's been a long journey, but we're just so thankful that we're here. And hopefully you all will learn something today. Thank you so much.
All right, well, we'll get right into it. As she said, Dawson's Management is the asset management company contracted out by the USDA to do foreclosures and the REO process. Today, you're going to hear a little bit about Dawson's Management, the USDA contract, how to get registered as a broker for Dawson's, and our broker requirements, and then we'll have some time for questions and answers. You will be trained by two of us, Labrescia Dawson and Marcia Toms. As she stated, Labrescia is the president and CEO, and Marcia is and I am the program manager. All right, about Dawson's Management. Again, Dawson's Management has been in this space for nearly 20 years. It's led by the wonderful Miss Dawson's who is the president, founder, and CEO. And I'd like to add, guys, that she's probably one of the most humble individuals I've met, and a real powerhouse. So her story is one that should be shared, and honestly, is should be really close to you guys' heart because she started as a listing agent. I'll tell a short story here that while I didn't know Labrescia personally, I was working on the HUD contract, and I came up to one of the things that I did with the HUD contract was business development, and I came up here to look for some opportunity in Gwinnett County where her office is, and I saw her moving around, and I said she was so diligent, asking wonderful questions. I said, she's going somewhere. She's going to get it because she was very ambitious and determined. So that is really what I love about her. Dawson's Management is a full service real estate brokerage and asset management company, specializing in asset management, property preservation, vendor management, and quality control strategies. All right. So we'll start off with the introduction to NDMS, which is the National Default Management Services contract for the USDA. Then we'll go over REO listing broker.
Oh, a bit of technical difficulties.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. So, as you know, the USDA has awarded 2 national vendors to manage their foreclosure and REO process. That consists of foreclosure services, bankruptcy services, eviction services, appraisal services, property preservation services, and REO services in support of their default portfolio. So we do it, we take the property from cradle to grave. We don't do any loss mitigation efforts. So once the property goes to foreclosure, it comes over and we are to process that foreclosure, and we take that foreclosure all the way to REO. Now, I mentioned earlier that the USDA had awarded the contract across the United States. However, currently, the states are split between the vendors. Those 2 vendors is Dawson's Management and ISN. I have a map up here that shows all the states that we are currently working in. Eventually, I am hoping that we will get other properties across the U.S., but for now, this is where we are. I'll leave it up here just for a minute so you can capture that and know which states we are in and where the opportunities lie with Dawson's. All right, so let's talk about broker requirements. Of course, you'll have to have a master listing agreement with our firm in order to list properties for Dawson's. Now, the one thing I will share with you is that we do not give the master listing agreement out until you get your first listing. So if you sign up with Dawson's and you're like, where's my master listing agreement? We do not put that document out until you actually accept your first assignment. I will say this though, if you were to receive 2 assignments at one time, you only have to upload the MLA for one of those properties. All right, so basically, our broker requirements are this. We do assign properties as soon as the property becomes an REO. And I say that because at the time we assign it, that property could be occupied or it could be vacant. And so it may not be quite ready to list, but what we need you therefore is if it's occupied, we need you as our eyes and ears. And then most of the time when a property does become vacant, our local listing agent is basically the first person to know that that property has become vacant. We engage a property preservation company as well to provide inspections for us. However, the idea behind assigning the property when it becomes an REO is so that we can get 2 perspectives. One is, okay, is the property vacant yet? And once it becomes vacant, then we expect for you to let us know, is the preservation team doing what they're expected to do? And I will say that those of you who are working with us currently, we appreciate your efforts. We could not do this without you. All right, so let's say once you're engaged, you're signed up on the Equator platform. That's the first thing you have to do. If you have not signed up on the Equator platform and you wish to do business with Dawson's, that is the first step to engaging with us. Um, Once that happens, if we happen to assign you something, I will say this: if you are currently in Equator and you have not been getting listings via Equator, and you want to be considered for a Dawson's Management USDA property, please make sure your license and insurance is updated. I have come across so many that I know are in business, but the license and insurance is not updated. And sometimes we are at a crunch time and we really don't have time to engage you for that. We do make every effort to reach out to you to have that, but I would say go check out your profile and make sure that everything is up to date. Now, I will say this about the Equator platform. For Dawson's, you don't necessarily have to buy or purchase any zip codes. We're going to see you if you're there. We're going to look at the distance. While the USDA does not require a distance, we do understand that in order to properly service properties, you do need to be within a reasonable distance. And we do recognize that we are marketing properties that are rural in nature. And so sometimes those requirements have to be stretched a little bit. As long as you can service it with a monthly inspection and you can actually market that property in that local MLS, we are okay. All right, so let's say you get an assignment. Once you get an assignment, we expect that you accept or decline that within 48 hours. Now, let me say this. Declining an asset is not a reason for us not to engage with you or to continue giving you assignments. Declining an asset because you're cherry picking is a different story, because the expectation is to take the good with the bad. Um, but I haven't seen any of that. But I did want to put it out there that if you know that you can't service the property properly, I encourage you to decline it. And if you can help with someone else or another colleague that you think could service it better, let us know that as well. All right, I stated before that we require monthly inspections and occupancy statuses if the property is occupied. Those are to be completed within 48 hours of assignment. And so that's why I mentioned if you know that you can't accept an assignment, please let us know, because we do like to get those turned around pretty quickly. And verified occupancy, again, must be done within 48 hours. If the property is vacant and when you approach and there's a lockbox on the property, typically that lockbox code is the last 4 digits of the loan number. In the event that property has a lockbox and it does not have the last 4 digits of the loan number does not open the property, make sure you send an email to Dawson's as well as the property preservation team. You are able to reach out to the preservation team for things like that. What you are not able to reach out to the property preservation team is to direct them on what to do as it relates to a property condition. What's wrong with the property, but you're not allowed to tell them what to do at the property, if that makes sense. We also require BPO valuations. We would like for those to be turned around in 5 days, and those are due every 60 days that a property is available. If a BPO triggers when the property is occupied, please notify your asset specialist who will pause these. The intention is not to do these BPOs on an occupied property, but they do trigger in the system. So I kind of want to give a heads up on that we are pausing those. A lot of times we'll get to them now before you get to them, but if we don't, you will have an asset specialist assigned to your loan and state. They're assigned by state. And if you send that notification, that task would be paused if the property is indeed occupied. Okay. Did I go too fast? Hold on just a minute. It's a little slow, a little delayed. Okay. All right. This is kind of the reiterating what I said before. What we want you to do with the inspection report. The inspection report is inside the system. We do expect that you provide, if it's occupied, we're expecting that you provide exterior photos and how you confirm that it was occupied. If it is in fact vacant, we do expect a full set of photos um, conveying the condition of the property as well as the number of bedrooms and baths. We're hoping that the picture can tell us a story because, again, you are boots on the ground. We also want you to provide a photo of the mailbox and street sign if there is one. We do realize that these properties are rural in nature, so they may not have a mailbox or a street sign. Um, I will say this about the agents. You guys are really good at locating those properties because our property preservation team leans on you sometimes to assist with locating these properties because sometimes finding these properties is an absolute mystery. Um, we also want you to do marketing photos. These should not have date stamps on them. However, if the seasons are changing, we do expect for you to update your marketing photos. And also, please check your marketing photos because sometimes the photos come in twisted or they come in with things in the background that I know that you didn't intend for those things to be there for your marketing photos. So make sure that you're looking at your photos. And I can tell you, if it says marketing photos, it's going on. We don't want the property to be displayed sideways. We just want it to be turned the right side up so that everyone can see what that property looks like.
No pictures of toilets for marketing photos or dirty shoes for marketing photos.
We see it all over here. Yes. Yes, no one, we shouldn't see your foot or anyone else's foot in those photos, not for marketing photos. It's okay for inspection photos sometimes, but for marketing photos, the expectation is that the quality be of a little different. For inspections, you're going to upload date stamp photos into the systems. For marketing photos, you are not going to do that. We do expect for the photos to be of high quality. And you'll learn why once you start to engage with us. Our properties are marketed on a site, and the individuals that manage the site are really, really diligent about making sure that our agent photos are up to par. We do rely on you to report any property preservation safety issues. We want you to not just report it, but to show us what you saw. And the reason why we need this supporting photo documentations is so that the preservation vendor knows that someone actually went and saw that, and they can't just come back to us and say, oh, no, that's not there. So we just want those photos so we can have a supporting documentation that identified the issue, and then we can hopefully get it rectified quickly. Also report any accessibility issues. I will say that in certain markets, the accessibility issues can be a challenge. So I would like for our agents who are having those troubles to make sure that you're keeping in communication with both Dawson's and the preservation team until it gets resolved. If you are having accessibility issues, we want you to take a photo of you trying to put your key in or that there's not a lockbox so that we have the supporting documentation. We also want you to place no trespassing signs in the window with the broker contact info and Dawson's management info. All right, agents are signed properties for a maximum of 60 days to sell the property. In some instances, we do allow you to that to go a little bit longer. And that will be for those brokers who are engaged, they're engaging with us, they're engaging with our platform vendor and letting us know like why that property has not sold within 60 days. If you're in communication with us, the intent is not to take something away. We do realize this is how this is your livelihood, this is how you make your living, and it is not our intent for us to assign something and to take it back. But we also want you to be engaged with that and understand that we are looking for partners, not just individuals who are sticking signs in the yards. We want you, we welcome your comments so that we understand what's going on with that property. However, in the event that we do find someone who may not be as engaged, we do reserve the right to reassign that property, and the broker's commission broker will not be paid any commission. For properties that are assigned to you, we do provide listing agreements per property, and so the broker's commission is specified in the listing agreement. So make sure once you get assigned a property and the property becomes listed. Let me say this too, because this is something that always happens. Remember, when we assign the property, it has just come out of foreclosure most of the times. And so the first thing that has to be determined is if that property is still occupied or if it's vacant. You will receive a master listing agreement once we assign it, but you will not receive a listing agreement until it's time to list that property. Something else that's not here, but that helps us out a little bit is when you get that property assigned to you, if you can do a little bit of due diligence as far as taxes, um, if you have the ability to check to see if the property is in the USDA's name, particularly individuals who are in redemption states. We do greatly appreciate that information because sometimes we are not aware that it was sold during the redemption period, and our brokers are the first to let us know. So, and we're just asking to be good partners, looking for that. The USDA does pay property taxes. And so if you see that there are some taxes due on the property while you have that property assigned to you, please let us know. We don't want anything to result in an unnecessary tax sale. The goal is for us to get the property sold without having the USDA pay any penalties or interest for taxes, that is. Talked about a little bit about providing BPOs. BPOs are extremely important when it's time to get a price reduction or time to accept an offer. If a property is sitting, the first thing that the asset manager is going to do is look at your BPO and to see if it's in line with what we have listed. Um, it makes it so much easier if that BPO is completed and the asset manager can just go in and look to see, well, what did the brokers take this should be listed for, or what did they think that it should be sold for? Um, as the market changes, we also want you to put comments in there about the shift in that market. I mean, sometimes the appraisal comes in a little higher because they're going off of recent sales, and you know that market better than anyone. And so, regardless of what the comps are coming in at, sometimes you already know this property is not going to sell for this. Like I said, just over comment and let us know why you don't feel that this is the best list price. We don't want the property to sell, and we are held to a standard for marketing and selling properties. So we need your assistance with that. All right. All right. So brokers are scored on monthly inspections completed on time, how long a property is marketed with you. We take it from the days on market, and then we look at how long the property stays under contract. So we do like for you to stay engaged with your contracts so that you make sure that they're moving in the right direction. One of the things that we really lean on our agents for is if a property is getting an extension, the goal is for the extension to be warranted, not for someone to hold up a property while they sell another property or while they buy another property. If it's an investor, sometimes they'll use funds for another property, and allow this one to be extended. So we don't, that's not the goal here. So if there are extensions, we are asking that, like you said, stay engaged with your property that you have under contract and provide us that information in the event you feel like that property should not be extended. You're also scored on the broker evaluation timeline and accuracy, days to close and days on market, as I stated, and then timely contract submission. I want to talk about that a little bit because I won't go in too much depth, but if you want to know our process, definitely sign up for one of our classes, the certification classes. But we do not use any state contracts. We have to use the USDA contract. And so we use that via DocuSign. And I know that trips everyone up because if you've ever been an equator, normally you are able to use your state contract. And so this is something that holds everybody up because they don't know that it's coming via DocuSign, but we send all of our contracts via DocuSign. We also grade you on overdue tasking. All right. So some of our professional standards, I know we're not going to have this problem with this group because I know that everyone is being taught at the highest level of professionalism and personal ethical standards. We want you to, if we find that you are not doing that, and remember, as a listing agent, you are a representation of Dawson's. And if we find that you are not representing Dawson's in the best light, we do reserve the right to remove and reassign the asset and or remove you from our broker network. Again, the intent is never to take food off of your tables. However, we do have some expectations that must be met. Again, I know that I'm wasting my breath saying this because everyone on this call does not have that problem.
That's right.
All right, here are some best practices. Just to kind of go over what we said. Remember to accept or reject your assignment within 48 hours. Sign and submit your master listing agreement following the task, via task. Now, the MLA comes via DocuSign too. That's something that gets missed as well too. Everyone's looking for something to download. It comes to your DocuSign. Remember when I said go and check your profiles? Yes, make sure your email addresses are correct. Because a lot of times some of the profiles, some of the listing agents that we're engaging, the profiles are not updated, so that MLA goes to the wrong email address. So we want to make sure that you have everything up to date. Again, do not submit any state documents. That means cancellations sent out via DocuSign. Ensure all tasks are completed on schedule. If you're having trouble completing your task, please reach out to your asset specialist. I can tell you, I was downstairs this morning listening to the asset specialist. If you're not, they're going to be calling you and engaging you to find out why you have not been able to complete your task. Now, they're not going to do that consistently. They're trying to help you along because they realize that our process is a little different than what Equator's process is typically. Failure to communicate with the selling agent can result in delayed contract finalization and closing. Again, the selling agent and or their buyer may not know that that contract is coming via DocuSign either. I will tell you that is typically where the contract gets hung up, is that they're not expecting it to come, or it went to their spam, or when the contract was entered, there was a duplicate email entered for two different people. Each person, when you enter it, if you're entering an offer, each person must have a unique email address. So I know sometimes selling agents wants the contract to come to them so they can walk their buyer through it. Well, that won't work. The contract will get hung up. So if you want, it's okay to, if the selling agent wants to go over that contract with their buyer, they'll just need to do it, have them come to the office or do it via phone. Timely completion of monthly inspections for occupied properties is required. I think this will be very important to you guys because as long as that property is occupied, it's not listed. And so we want to get it listed as quickly as possible. And also, what I found is that when agents go out, a lot of times they're able to touch base with that occupant and help them navigate the process of eviction and or get some information as to what their intentions are and kind of explain things to them. So we do have you do get an opportunity to help speed that process up because you can make that direct communication with them. Again, I can't stress enough to support buyers agents in this process. If you're supporting them, you're engaged with your properties that you have under contract, and that helps our properties either close or get canceled and remarketed to the right buyer. Um, Report all emergency property situations to the property preservation team promptly via Equator and or phone call. And don't forget to CC the asset manager. Again, you are to inform them, not to tell them what needs to be done. They are aware of what needs to be done as for whatever circumstance it is. Again, we do appreciate your eyes and ears because we can't be at every property. So we appreciate you letting us know. And the quicker we know about certain things like that prevents further damaging to properties. All right, how do you join the Dawson's management team? You need to go to our website. It's dawsonsmanagement.com. You need to select the USDA NDMS vendor sign up and then go to broker agent sign up, which will redirect you to equator.com if you're not in Equator, and then go ahead and sign up. If you do believe that you are in Equator, just log in and check your profile and see if everything is up to date so that you don't miss assignments. I do know that there are some things that are coming up, and I would hate for you to miss those opportunities. So definitely get engaged. Again, remember we do the entire process. So our files are in foreclosures first, and then they come over to REO. All right. Now we also ask that you please join our private Facebook group. And why do we say that? Because this is where you might hear about opportunities in your state. Believe it or not, we do sometimes put listings in there that we are looking for agents. We also are that's the first place you would also learn about any of our certification trainings or any of our other trainings. So be engaged on Facebook group. Miss Dawson's is definitely active on there. So she keeps everyone informed. I oftentimes forget that we have that page, but it is a great resource. I'll tell you a short story. When she told me she was doing that, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And honestly, it's the best thing that she could have ever done because it is definitely a way to find agents, to engage with agents, and to keep agents up to date. If you're not really a social media person, I just encourage you to pop your head in every now and then just so you don't miss out on opportunities. But oftentimes, your friends know you're on there. So if they know there's something that's in your market, they're going to tag your name in it. We do appreciate that too. Questions?
Sorry, you went out just for a second. At the end there.
I said, do you have any questions? This concludes our
Perfect.
training. Just wanted to see if there were any questions.
All right, I will start sending them your way. And thank
Okay.
you, ladies, here. And if you have not yet submitted a question on the Q&A, please do so right now, and I will feed them to Labrescia and Marcia. First one that came in yesterday: how often do we need to recertify with Dawson's Management? I was certified in the fall of 2024.
All right. So I would think that if you were certified in the fall of 2024, you are good. What we like to do is the rule of thumb is if you were certified and we were using a different platform than Equator, we are recommending that you get recertified because of the process has changed basically.
Perfect. And then we have from Jeff Russell in California. First, he said hi to both of you. And then, when will you get awarded in California?
We wished we knew. Let's say this. We have both vendors have been awarded the entire United States. It's just that it was easier for the USDA with the backlog of assets to split it up. So it's not that we have not been awarded that state. It's just that we have not started receiving assignments in those states. And once we do, trust me, I am almost certain that Ms. Dawson is going to be engaging you guys on the Facebook platform because that's what she does, is make sure that her agents are dear and close to her heart naturally. And so she wants to make sure that you know about the opportunities. So stay, like I said, if once we start getting stuff in other states, we will definitely put it on the Facebook group first.
Perfect. And then Stephen Simmons asked, do you have the whole state of Texas, or is there a cutoff by county or city?
The entire state of Texas.
All right. From Cisco Gonzalez, I'm signed up on Equator. They don't have a Dawson certification area anymore. Is that required?
We'll have to check into that. It's the Dawson's certification is not required for you to receive an assignment. No. However, it is helpful because it helps you navigate our process a little easier. But thank you for that. We will check to see if that certification is not there. Ms. Dawson has a question.
No, can you go back to that map?
Yes. Okay. Just 1 minute.
I wanted to, hold on one second.
You can.
She's going to go back to the map, and this is to follow up on the gentleman that asked the question about the state of Texas. When Marcia gets to the map, whatever state that we have here, we have the entire state. At some point, the USDA is going to probably open it up. We'll have our states and additional states. But for right now, the ones in red, if we have that state, we have the entire state, no matter the zip code or anything like that. Okay?
Wow.
All right.
Thank you. From Amy, do we have to take the Dawson's training certificate to be a part of your team?
No. We encourage it, but to receive an assignment, you do not have to take the certification. Like, again, it is highly encouraged though.
Well, and I'm going to skip down, Laura, I'm going to come right back to your question, but following up on that one, Marie Houston, how can we take the certification, and is there a date and time for that?
Okay. So in the past, we've held the training at conferences like 5 Star. We've done that about maybe 2 times, and that's about it.
We did virtually too.
And maybe we did 1 virtual training. Yes. And so it's time for us to schedule something, and we need to maybe Marcella and I will get together and see how we can do that probably in the next 2 to 6 months. But it is not mandatory. However, if we see that someone has taken our training and someone that has not, and the process is kind of different from any other asset management company, we're going to probably go with the person that has taken the training because of all it's rule is different, but it's not required. But we would love for you to take the training, but you do not have to take the training. And you're a part of our team anyway because you're here. So thank you so much.
Now from Laura. Laura Dietz, what is the most important factor you consider when assigning an asset? How can we stand out?
You want to go ahead? Laura, is that Laura Dietz?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Laura, for recommending this group. Thank you so much for all you've done for our industry. And I appreciate you for recommending us over to REOX. This is beautiful. Laura, you took us under your wings years ago. You didn't know us. And like I tell people, yes, experience matters, but so do first chance. Out in the industry, if you don't help someone, you could never become what we've become, which is an asset manager. No one could have ever told me, starting out chasing people like Marcia at 5 Star, that I would one day be an asset manager, but I believed it in my heart. So you have to start from somewhere. So while we want you to be professional, know what you're doing, I'm also open to giving people first chances because you never know what they could become. So thank you all. We appreciate you.
That's awesome. Great job, Laura. And she was the one that turned us on to you. I remember I reached out to you a couple months ago and about doing a webinar, and you immediately emailed back and you're like, absolutely, when do you need me? So that was amazing.
Thank you.
This one is sort of, we have a couple more of the certification questions. These may have already been answered, but I'm just going to acknowledge their questions. So Elizabeth had said, I am signed up with Equator with all my licenses and insurance up to date. I'm missing a Dawson's training certificate. Where can I access and complete? And I believe you just answered that a few minutes ago.
What state is she in?
She did not say. If you want to go ahead and pop that in the Q&A, I'll send that to Labrescia and Marcia. Another question, I do have the certificate. Do I take it again? And that goes back, you had said pretty much after 2023, correct?
Yes.
They don't have to take it again. Even if they took it before then,
They don't have to.
you don't
Just
have
encouraged to.
We're just encouraged to, so that you know. So if we give you a listing and you call us 10 times when you could have taken the training, it's like, oh, you know what I mean? But it's not mandatory like that. But we, like she said, we encourage it.
Does the USDA, this is an anonymous attendee, does the USDA have secret shopper reports? Fannie does secret shop reports, and they are factored into our scorecard.
Oh, let me answer that question.
Please.
So I'm not aware of any secret shoppers, but you could get a phone call from Ms. Dawson trying to give you a listing and you don't answer your phone. So we've had that happen several times. I'm like, wow, answer your phone.
I will say this is that Ms. Dawson is very hands-on, and so there may be a time that she gets a call about a property and she's reaching out to the listing agent. And I know she's come back to me and said a few times that they didn't answer the phone and nor did they call back. So I would say if you are going to be engaging with us, we don't do at the moment secret shoppers, so to speak, but that might be a secret shopper where she would say, I don't think we may not want to assign them any more listings because they don't answer their phones. But at the moment, it's not something that's formal.
Valid response. From Pam, what insurances do you need to be a vendor?
Okay, so basically you need to have an E&O insurance policy worth $1 million.
Okay.
Is she stating a broker or a preservation vendor, a BPO vendor? I mean, appraisal vendor? What type of vendor is she?
Not specified. Pam, if you want to specify some more, just put it at the bottom of the comments. Oh, she said real estate.
Real estate.
Okay.
Yes, that's what you'll have to with your you'll be required to upload that into the system, and it tells you the requirements once you get the MLA. So if you have not done any business with Dawson's in the past, when you get that MLA, we encourage you to read through it so that you understand it. And if there are some things that you don't understand, please reach out to us.
So we had one. I assume since you're not in Maryland, we will not get any assignments.
Well, that's for the moment. Now that doesn't say that we won't get them in the future. Again, we encourage you to stay engaged on our social media page, because the first time we receive any assignment in any state that you don't see a red dot in, we're gonna let you know.
A couple more of you sent in some certification questions. I'm going to skip those because I feel the ladies have covered those pretty thoroughly. From Sharon Bartlett, where do you see agents having the most issues in meeting your requirements when managing one of your properties? Great question.
I would say we're probably having the most challenges in areas that have really, really remoteness, and that would be Wyoming, Alaska, are some of our challenging areas. And I'm not saying that there are not good brokers there. There's just the location of these properties make it a little difficult to find someone who can service these things properly.
Let me just say this. Now, the way that I'm wired, which is how we got to asset management, you told me that you don't have anyone really in Alaska, Wyoming. I'm going to get my license there and maybe get an Airbnb there and stay on the ground until I figure it out. That's how I'm wired. But a lot of us are kind of like cookie cutter. But today you have to think outside the box, and I'm just willing to take risks and chances like that. So what I hear is not something that stops me. I hear opportunity. That makes me now want to say, well, how many properties do you have in Alaska? Is it 50 or more, 25 or more? Because if so, I'm going to get my Alaska license. I'll be your boots on the ground, especially if the Alaska properties are 300 plus thousand. So that's for some of you all to think outside the box, your Sharon Bartlett's who have agent networks and REOX, to think outside the box that way. Who can you position to go there and just take all of that inventory in those states where we have issues? That's how we should be thinking, not just one listing here, one listing there. I want you all to start thinking outside the box.
This is from Myron Bodie. Once an agent goes out to check occupancy and notices that there is an occupant, is it okay to leave a notice with agent's name and phone number to contact to discuss options?
It is. It is definitely, it is actually encouraged to do that. Now, the caveat is, if by chance we call you to go out and check a property that is not an REO, but it's in foreclosure, we're just asking you to drive by. At that time, no. But once it's an REO, yes.
Okay. Let's see. There are, if I am already a part of Equator, is any additional action required to sign up?
Other than making sure that your license and E&O are up to date, no.
Okay. Let's see. Wendy Martin, one of our the members of our advisory council. First, thank you for a great presentation. Was certified in 2021, signed and returned the MLA, but never heard anything back. How are things different now than then? And are you busier now? She covers Oregon and Washington.
We're definitely busier now. And so she would definitely have to, let me say this, if you were on the old platform, which would have been in 2021, once you are in Equator, you will be required to sign a new MLA. Again, some things have been updated and changed. And so while you may not have gotten anything then, I say make sure your license and insurance are updated, because we definitely have inventory now.
Mm-hmm. So let me say this too. Just because you take the certification, it does not guarantee listings, which is why it's not required.
Mm-hmm.
And what's different now, in 2021, the USDA awarded Dawson's a contract and we only did REO for them. This is an entirely different contract and we do 4 different verticals for them now. We are the default team. They've pushed out their whole default portfolio. When the first contract, they had already foreclosed on the properties and then they sent us the property. Now Dawson's has to foreclose on the properties and turn these properties into REO. So it's a longer road to get the properties to REO.
Yes.
And I just want people to realize that it's 2 different contracts, which is why she's stating before 2023, we were on an old contract. We got re-awarded a bigger contract, which is why they now have 2 vendors, because we do more than REO.
Perfect. This is from my friend Elois Fuller in Florida. What area are you seeing the most REO activity, and how does South Florida compare?
I would say the area that we see the most activity right now, and let me say this, guys, it depends, because we do foreclosures. You have to keep in mind the timeline it takes to do a foreclosure. So naturally now we're seeing more properties in Texas, Alabama, Michigan, Missouri, some of the states where it doesn't take as long. I would say that Texas and Georgia probably have the largest portfolio. And then behind that, I would say Louisiana and Maine. As far as Florida is not as much, but let me say this, Florida is still moving through the pipeline. So any Florida that we've gotten thus far is one that the USDA performed the foreclosure on, and they gave us the REO. So that's been very few of those. But again, because we've been working this contract, all of those states are coming up, and I would say start to look for Florida the first quarter of next year.
Okay. There's another one that asked a similar question with Central Florida, so I'm going to go ahead with that. How many properties are in Alaska?
I don't know exactly how many are in Alaska, but I do think that Ms. Dawson has told me that question is there. So, and again, I won't be able to pinpoint exactly how many, but I will say let's put it this way, it's less than 100.
I'll go for less than 50 if the point, if the price point is 300,000.
Yeah, but I will say the opportunities are there. So even if
Yeah.
we had less than 50 and you did get your license there, it would make sense because the price points are definitely worth looking into. Let's just say that.
Do you offer cash for keys?
We do not offer cash for keys at this time. I wish we did because a lot of the stuff that we have would probably get listed right now.
There are a couple that are having some login issues. I'll send you those separately, and I'll reach out.
Yes.
So we have a couple saying in the places where you are not, for example, California, Maryland, Pennsylvania. What do they do? What should they do until you guys get there?
I would honestly engage with the other vendor just so that you're familiar with the process. Now, while the contract is the same, our processes and the way we go about them may be a little different, but I would recommend signing up with them. And again, it's ISN.
ISN.
Mm-hmm.
There. So one had said she never received the MLA. She is in Alabama and also licensed in Georgia.
Okay, so unless you have received a listing, you would not receive the MLA. Does not mean that we have not recognized or seen you. It just means that we have not assigned you anything yet. It may be that we haven't received one in your market just yet.
Chris Kolarich, I'm not sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. I'm going to get with him offline about your questions. We have, let's see, we have a couple more and we are 4 minutes out. So I'm going to end with this question and before I do my closing remarks. So Tom Marco asked, will you be attending the REOX, the conference, the REOX when the HI Expo in November?
November the 16th.
No, what's the dates again?
November 16th and let's see, November 16th through 18th.
I think we have to get a formal invitation from REOX and we can definitely look into it.
Annie is on it. We would love to have you guys there. And okay, wow. So thank all of you for being here, but especially thank you, Labrescia and Marcia, for sharing your time, your knowledge, and your expertise with us today. And thank you to everyone who joined our conversation and for all the really great questions. We really appreciate you being attentive and staying on and asking the questions. If you are already a part of REOX, you know that these sessions are just one of the many ways that we're helping members grow through education, advocacy, and access, including mentorship opportunities, exclusive networking, and direct connections with servicers and asset managers shaping our industry. If you're not yet a member, we'd love for you to join us and become part of the fastest growing network in REO. You can learn more and apply at the REOX.com. And speaking of the Housing Intelligence Expo, it is just weeks away. REOX members receive exclusive access to the REOX Connect, the REOX Bash, and members-only sessions during the event, plus the lowest available registration rate valid only through October 20th, so you really need to get on that. And you can learn more and register at thehousingintelligence.com. And on behalf of the REOX, thank you, Labrescia and Marcia, and thank you everyone who joined us. We can't thank you enough, and we look forward to seeing all of you at the REO